I think this team has shown grittiness all year. Detroit series, Boston series. Tonight was a night we got to show that kind of never say quit attitude, and it's a testament to everyone in that locker room.
The biggest part of our comeback and everything was, we could quickly start to point fingers. We can quickly start to just turn on each other. But we got together as a team, and we made sure that everyone was encouraging each other and making sure that it's not over. We got to keep fighting, keep chipping away. And we did that. And I'm just proud from the way we responded. Yeah, we needed it.
Certainly stayed together, showed a lot of resilience. New York enjoying this morning headlines. Here's the front page of the New York Post. Chokes on them. We'll see if the choke was a little premature.
That's a good one.
We gotta wait till it all plays out though for that. But Stephen A., we know what will be pivotal to winning this series, and that's obviously Game 4. Who do you think is winning it?
Well, I'm going to go with my Knicks because I think it's urgent. If they don't win this game, I don't think they get out of Game 6. They could possibly lose a Game 5 at the Garden, considering how they've played at MSG compared to how they've looked on the road. But I would surmise they would win that game. But are you going to come back to Indiana, win a Game 6, and overcome a 3-1 deficit? I think that's a daunting task and a predicament they do not want to find themselves in. I don't think they have enough depth or offensive firepower to put themselves in that kind of precarious position, and they're going to be able to overcome that. So I'm going to say that they'll win Game 4 because of the urgency of the moment. But I caution everybody to understand this. The Indiana Pacers have looked suspect throughout these playoffs in one game. That's Game 3s. Every other game, they've looked very formidable. And I think that when you're on your home court and you're going up against the Knicks and you know that you positioned yourself to have a 20-point lead on the road against the New York Knicks in Game 3 before you blew it, I think it's one of those situations where Rick Carlisle, I think he's going to look at things that he could have done better, and I think he's going to make the necessary adjustments because he's a Hall of Fame caliber coach. And I think some of the mistakes that you saw Indiana making yesterday, I don't think that's going to be the case in Game 4. On their home turf, they're going to come ready. They're going to know that they need to win that game in order to secure the advantage that they're looking for. And the New York Knicks are going to have to bring something close to their A game in order to walk away with a victory. Indiana in Games 4 and 5 have looked incredibly formidable throughout these playoffs, okay? Against Milwaukee, against Cleveland, and I see no reason to believe why they're going to slide in this particular game. The Knicks are going to have to beat them. I don't think Indiana's going to beat themselves.
Okay, so Stephen A. going with the Knicks to win Game 4 in Indy. Keith, where are you on this?
I'm staying with Indiana. This series has been a wild one. If you look at Game 1 and Game 3, the team that started fast was the team that lost. Mm-hmm. So now if I'm looking at that dynamic, I don't want to start fast. Let's just be steady throughout the game. If I'm Indiana, I know we play fast. I know we play 10 guys, but we have to be steady and learn how to close games. If I'm the Knicks, which like I said, I'm taking Indiana, but if I'm the Knicks, I'm going to Cat all game. This is going to be an imprint of Cat and Jalen Brunson. This entire game will be an imprint of Cat and Jalen Brunson, and I do have Indiana winning this game.
Right. I still got the Knicks, and I'm kind of happy you said that, right? Because if you look at the numbers, and I'm not a number guy, but 6-1 on the road is impressive. It's impressive. So that says to me that they're not rattled by being in Indiana, right? And Jalen Brunson only played 30 minutes, Cat only played 33 minutes. So that actually they got a little bit more rest than what they normally would get because they are 40-minute guys under Thibs, right? The question is, does Thibs trust his bench again? Will he be able to get his bench to play like they played last? And what will Indiana do to keep Cat out that paint? Because now that they see that Miles Turner can't guard him at the three-point line at all. He was getting down the paint like he was a guard, right? He was getting to the paint and he was creating a three like he was a guard. I want to see the adjustment on that, but I got to go with the numbers. I like the Knicks being 6-1 on the road and winning games. I think that they can take this game.
S.A.?
Oh, yeah. I'm of that mindset. Don't get me wrong. Let's understand that Cat's got to play well. Brunson can't be in foul trouble. You can't beat Indiana replicating what transpired in Game 3. Brunson being on the bench when it counts because he's in foul trouble. Karl-Anthony Towns plagued by some foul trouble as well. you got your Shaman coming off the bench, Wright coming off the bench, Miles McBride, even though, again, he has the best plus-minus of anybody with the New York Knicks. Mikal Bridges has the worst. We get that. I think it's going to take a concerted collective effort. OG Anunoby's going to have to hit open shots. Mikal Bridges is going to have to hit some of those key shots, mid-range primarily. Stop launching those threes. That ain't been really working for you, even though you've hit a couple. And I think that, they've got to stay out of foul trouble.
Okay.
And it's going to have to be a situation for Game 4 when Brunson's going to have to play a majority of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. It sounds like you're going Brunson. But if the Knicks are to come back, do you feel like it's more dependent on Cat or Brunson, S.A.?
Brunson. Because I think they'll look for him to close. I don't think that you're going to see Karl-Anthony Towns drop another 20 in the fourth quarter again. I think he'll get his points, but I think it'll be spread out throughout the game. He's not going to explode like that. I think you're going to need Brunson in the game for a chunk of the fourth quarter in order to pull off a victory in Game 4. I think that under any other circumstance, I can't see it happening.
You going Brunson or Bodega Cat?
I'm going to Big Bodega. Brunson is going to be Brunson. He has been Brunson the entire playoffs. You don't have to guess at what he's going to do. 23 points. He only played 30 minutes last night. He was in foul trouble. He was 10 for 10 from the free throw line, and he closed the game with a big bucket at the end. But if you don't get that dominated game from Cat, they don't have a chance to win this series or win that game. So I'm going to stick with the Big Bodega. Let's do it, Cat, man. Root for you, brother.
I'm not even going to say Cat or Jalen Brunson. I think Cat dominates them and dominates the Pacers.
History, right?
In history, it says it, right? Jalen Brunson has been killing the playoffs. I think it's Thibs. I want to see his adjustments. I want to see what does Thibs go to after this one. Seeing the things that work for you after being down 20 and getting some things to work and getting some guys that come in. What's the adjustment? Do he play the bench guys? What's the dynamic of how he coaches this next game?
Go ahead, S.A.
I got a question. I got a question for you, Marcus. So what do you think, based off of what we saw in Game 3, what do you think that Rick Carlisle is going to throw Thibs' way that Thibs is going to have to adjust to, as opposed to Thibs just simply replicating what transpired in Game 3? What do you think is going to happen that Thibs is going to have to adjust to?
I think that you can't guard Miles Turner on Cat on the wing. We've seen Cat be able to create from the three, which is different. He's a center, right? He's a center that's putting the ball on the floor and getting to the paint. That creates a lot of problems. That creates fouls. That creates open shots. If I'm him, I put Siakam on Cat. Now them driver lanes is done. I put the big fella Miles Turner on Josh Hart, and we make Josh Hart make shots, right? Every time Cat is at the rim, Miles Turner come and we make him make shots. And that's the part where I think that you have to do that. You have to make sure that Cat is not dominating from the three-point line. They don't post him that much, so it's not like he's killing on the block. But where he's doing his damage is from the three-point line on in. So I will put a smaller guy on him. You can't shoot no trail threes.
Pick up.
Every time he comes over half, we right here. Siakam had to be close to him. I would change that matchup and not play big on big, but a power forward on a big.
I just think it's interesting that I gave you the choices of Cat or Brunson, and you went Thibs. To that sentiment, if the Knicks don't come back and win this series, do you feel like he's on the hot seat as a head coach of the Knicks?
That's a tough one because I know New York loves.
Stephen A. said yes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I know New York loves Thibs. I know it's a great dynamic with Leon Rose and Thibs and all those guys in there.
And West.
But you actually made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Did guys actually think that the Knicks were going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? Did the Knicks actually think they were going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals?
That's true. They exceeded expectations.
So they exceeded expectations in that fact. Then they had some really good wins. They put out the defending champions in Boston, and obviously Tatum was hurt, but they were going to win the game and Tatum got hurt anyway. So I mean, you really can't really say
Because we always, to your brother's point, we did say they weren't there. They didn't have enough. It was Boston and it was Cleveland. That was a foregone conclusion that Boston and Cleveland were going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right. But they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're supposed to be the best team right now. Indiana wasn't the team that people picked to even get this far. The Knicks, we knew that they would be able to challenge Boston, right? So if I'm going down the line and you putting the Knicks You didn't think so?
No.
I think they would challenge them. I
You
didn't
didn't
think
know that,
win.
Marcus?
No.
I thought they would challenge Boston. You didn't think they would challenge them at all?
Boston
Marcus,
was
they were
going to run
0-10.
over them.
No.
I thought Boston was
We
going to kick them in
thought
the ass.
we thought it was like Boston over everyone.
Everybody.
I thought like I said, I
Hold
didn't
on.
think they were going to beat Boston. I
Right.
thought they would challenge Boston, right? I thought it would be
You
a
did.
good. I thought it would be a good series.
Well-
and then flip side, you played the best team. Obviously, JT went down, but you played the best team. How can't you get past the Indiana Pacers? Let's just be frank. The Knicks have been here in 25 years. It's time.
Well, let me
I don't wanna
let
hear
me
it.
help you out. Let me help you out.
It's
here.
Just because you raised your
dumb.
voice,
You're missing
that
it.
don't mean
You're missing it.
He's the older
You're
one?
missing it.
AJ
You're missing it.
younger.
Here's the deal.
Go ahead,
Here's
Stephen
the
A.
deal, y'all. Number one, it was supposed to be Cleveland, Boston. And listen, when Tatum got hurt, God bless him, we hope he recovers fully, of course. They were en route. They were losing that game when he got hurt in the last couple of minutes, all right? And they were going to be down 3-1 going back to Boston. So, I mean, that was the situation. So we're not giving that. But coming into the postseason, the Knicks were 0-10 against the top three teams in the NBA, against Boston, against Cleveland, against OKC. They were 0-10, okay? So we have to look at it from that standpoint. And Boston had their way with the Knicks during the regular season. We had conceded that if it was going to be Boston or Cleveland, because both of them were better than the New York Knicks, and then the New York Knicks upended Boston. So we got to give credit where credit is due. Here's why I answer the question as to Thibs potentially being on the hot seat. I want to throw a caveat in there. Had they gotten swept, Thibs would be in a world of trouble. A world of trouble.
I agree.
Because he probably would have been up out of there. Here's the reason why. When you look at some of the decisions that he's made, you got to remember, Leon Rose, Worldwide West, William Wesley, and all those guys, they believe they've built a championship contender. And no one has ever questioned Thibs' basketball acumen, his dedication, and how much effort he's able to soak out of any squad he coaches. We know those are all things about him to be revered. The one hiccup for him is that he will run dudes into the ground. And when you got cats signed to these contracts, when you got Brunson signed, when you acquired Karl-Anthony Towns, when you give up 5 first-round picks, including 4 unprotected for Mikal Bridges, and Mikal Bridges is an Iron Man, and he comes out publicly and says, can we get some rest? He's never done that in his career. He's never done that. But he says, can we get some rest? Can you play some of these other cats? And stuff like that. Those are the kind of things that made you look at Thibs and say, yo, man, this is not great, because we see some of the great coaches in the game that know how to utilize their assets better as opposed to running them into the ground. But he won game 3, and if this series ends up being a series, then I think he's safe. But had they gotten swept, I think Thibs would have been up out of here.
I agree.
All right, we'll leave it there, guys.